No, but that's a good segue because I want to talk about studs. I know Dorsey brought it up like in the group chat today. It seems like a lot of backups are going ahead of starters. Let's talk about that. Is that savvy or stupid?
Or give some examples because when he said it, I was like, who? And then when he listed them, I was like, okay, there actually are quite a few
I mean, like he
backups
listed
going
quite a
over
few,
starters.
and when I
Well,
saw
I
it,
remember a few. Like he mentioned Sermon over Mostert.
yep, yep,
He mentioned Elijah Moore over Corey Davis.
yeah.
Um,
DJ over Philip Lindsay.
I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that they're stupid. I think in some cases they're savvy. I just think it depends on your build.
Yeah.
So, you know, especially for someone like me who goes running back early, and when I say heavy running back early, what that means these days is I take 2 running backs in like the first 3 rounds. You know, maybe sometimes I take 3 in the first 4 rounds. I'm not doing like a robust RB build, you know, in the far majority of my drafts. But so if I get 2 running backs that I really, really like, then 6th, 7th round comes around, I'm fine like taking someone like a Trey Sermon or maybe even like, you know, reaching for someone like a, you know, I shouldn't say reach, but taking someone like a Javonte Williams, not with the idea that I expect them to like, you know, start with for me right out the
you're
gate.
looking down the road.
I'm looking down
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah.
These are like league winners, you know,
Yeah.
later on down the road. So it's savvy from a standpoint of, okay, if you know, have a certain type of roster construct where you feel like, okay, you have a couple pieces you can get in those mid to later tiers that you can kind of fill out your starting lineup, and you really want to take that kind of, you know, high upside. This falls in my definition of high upside picks.
Yeah.
Then those are the type of players
Yeah.
that you go for. Same thing with like the Corey Davis and the Elijah Moores. For me, I would consider that a savvy pick because I'm someone who doesn't believe in Corey Davis's talent. Okay, I don't want to hear
You'd be
about
wrong, but yeah.
Say
Yeah,
what?
he would be wrong, but let him go.
I mean, I don't. Okay, I was wrong up until preseason. We just said we don't care about preseason. but
No,
I'm
no,
We've always been on.
No,
Corey
we've
Davis,
always
but
thought
go
that
ahead.
you were
Corey
right.
Davis.
Corey
Okay,
Davis.
Corey Davis was nothing for a while, and I mean that's another. But either way, I'm not a Corey Davis believer, so you know I don't mind taking. You know, I'm not going to reach for Elijah Moore, but I would take Elijah Moore before I would take Corey Davis.
Okay.
And I'm fine. Like if Elijah Moore doesn't pan out and Corey Davis scores more points, that's fine. But I think in terms of upside, in terms of the guy that has like the most ability, the guy that towards the end of the year is going, you know, I see being like the legit guy. To me, that's Elijah Moore. You know, they can do more with Elijah Moore. So certain situations, I think it's savvy. Other situations, I think it's something that like I think people may just not be necessarily aware of who the actual starter is.
That's one thing. Yeah.
You know, so in that situation, I don't want to call it stupid. I mean, it's just like, you know, just not having, you know, the amount of information. And sometimes we don't have the
It's
information.
innocent.
So
It's innocent ignorance. But
that sounds negative.
it's innocent.
It is negative. Like it sounds
Innocent
like y'all are
ignorance.
trying to smooth over stupid.
It's
But
innocent.
it's
No,
all right.
they just don't know. They don't know. And it's, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. But that is a good point as far as that latter point. But initially, there are people that take these players because they're looking at the long game. You know, they're not so much caring about what their team looks like week 1, because if you look at what your team looks like week 1, Melvin Gordon's will be valuable. Mostert will be super high. You know, all these guys that we know are the incumbent veteran players there will be valuable because we know week 1 they're probably going to play the most. But especially in something like a tournament, we all keep in mind that the money weeks are the back end. And we've played football or we watch football enough to see that you have players that, especially young rookies, they come out the gate very slow, but by the end of the season, they're superstars, i.e. last year, Justin Jefferson. You know, players like that. Even Jonathan Taylor started off slow, you know. All those running backs started off slow. By the end of the season, they were a major thing. So people want to kind of catch that lightning in a bottle with their team this year. The problem is, you know, it gets to a point where they might be overvaluing them too early. Because, you know, back in the day, like last year, I looked at a board from last year. Justin Jefferson was going like in the 12th round, you know. And if you think about that now, that's laughable. You know, the guy's now being taken in the 2nd, 3rd round, and you were able to get him in the 12th round last year, and you saw what he did. Now people are thinking they're finding the next Justin Jefferson, but they're taking him like Jamar Chase. They're taking him in the 4th, 5th round. And I like Jamar Chase. I've even taken him there. I'm not going to lie. But the value's not there anymore. We're, again, taking him at his ceiling. So I get why people do it. It's savvy to them. And, you know, everything can be looked at funny until it works, you know?
Right.
And then, you know, hindsight is 2020. And once it works, it's like, wow, you were a wizard. You saw that, you know, you predicted the future. Or you can say, you know, you messed up.
Yeah.
But you
Or you lucked out.
you gotta shoot for the moon and land on the clouds in this to some extent with these type of leagues, you know? You can't play it safe. You know, so I get it. I don't knock it whatsoever. But some people do take it a little bit too far. Like I see some builds where it's like mostly running backs, and I cringe a little bit. I'm sorry, mostly rookies, and I cringe a little bit because, yeah, you might be building a team that's going to be very high point potential near the end of the season, but if you don't even make it to the tournament as far as have a successful enough regular season, none of that will matter. You'll be one of the highest scoring teams on the outside looking in. So that doesn't benefit you. So
Michael Carter in the Jets backfield, that was especially earlier on in draft season. That was a good example of that. Again, we didn't have a lot of information, but
he put out a long list, and I was like,
okay. You know, the range of where he was going versus Tevin Coleman, who was I think at sometimes being undrafted potentially, and Ty Johnson, who was definitely being undrafted at the time. That was just, that gap was just way too wide, and we were just way too certain that he was going to be the starter. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's the rookie. You could argue that he's necessarily more explosive. I like what I've seen from Ty Johnson. Okay, he's always looked good to me from Maryland. I just have always questioned how much workload he can get. But in an RBBC, he seems like a perfect fit. And to pair him with someone like a Tevin Coleman, and then you have, that could literally be a true 3-back RBBC. But to kind of assume that he's just the lead guy, and
if
take
it's
him
an
in the
RBBC, nobody taking Michael Carter are going to be happy.
Yeah,
because they're taking him with the assumption that he's going to become the man, even if it's not week one.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
By the mid-season or end of the season, they're taking him, expecting him to be the guy.
Yeah,
and RBBC value is not where he's being valued at right now. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. You don't want to take those guys in the 6th, 7th round. Those are not
now,
guys.
if he becomes the guy, I don't know. Have you? Okay, you watched the Jets preseason game. How's he looked?
He looks okay. He looks
Michael
okay.
Carter?
He looks like I thought he was going to look.
Michael Carter, does he look fast?
No.
He doesn't look fast?
Not to me.
I don't think you can say that.
He didn't look fast to me. I think I actually
I'm
wrote
just saying,
that
does he
down
look
as a
fast to you? Does he look like somebody that has that juice, or he looks like somebody that just...
There's not a lot of difference between him and Ty Johnson. But Ty Johnson is
is super fast, though.
Yeah, there's not a lot of difference. Ty Johnson, he has that explosion. He hits the hole, pretty good. His vision, to me, is a little bit questionable, and his power is very questionable.
Ty Johnson?
Yeah, Ty Johnson.
He's a small guy. He's a small guy.
But Michael Carter, on the other hand, I'm more based, it's hard for me to take such a small sample of the preseason and say, okay, this is who he is.
But I'm asking you, take that small sample.
I can't.
Okay, Chris, you've seen him. What does he look like?
I just didn't think that he looked explosive.
He didn't look impressive to you?
No. But I feel that same way about Javonte as well. I didn't feel like
Javonte looked explosive.
I didn't think he looked explosive at all. I saw him catch the sideline once, and it was like, I think they ran him down, actually. I think he got run down on the sideline.
I don't care if a running back is running back, but he looked explosive to me. I don't know.
Javonte to break away.
Javonte makes me want to draft him in the 6th round as that guy. I've cooled off on Trey Sermon. I think he's going too high now. And
I haven't seen Trey Sermon play. I haven't seen none of these guys in preseason.
Trey Sermon hasn't looked all that impressive, honestly.
But he's hurt, right?
I think he's back practicing. I think he had an ankle injury. But I think he's at least back in limited fashion.